All right, hi, I'm Joaquina, and my wiki is on hormones, so estrogen, testosterone, and androgens. The wiki is unique because I decided to use tofu to discuss why estrogen is not necessarily bad for males. I know there's this stigma that estrogen is bad for males and testosterone is bad for females, but I talk about how, that's not necessarily true and that stigma is just a stigma. And my media is a picture of tofu because tofu is one of my favorite foods as a vegetarian. And I also put an article talking about like the health benefits of tofu and how even though there's phytoestrogens in there, it's still good for men and it's still good for women too.
Okay, so my name's Katie, and I did my wiki on sex similarities. So, first, I talked about sex similarities in lions and how they actually are like they run as like a family unit. So, the male lions and the female lions both have a common goal of protecting and raising their cubs, which is different than like most other animals. About how men and women have sex similarities, and even their differences are actually deceptive differences because they're caused by society and our culture that changes us. It's not actually a biological change. And my media is I have an article about how men and women share cognitive skills, and also I have a article with a graph of girls scoring higher than boys on math tests in different cultures, and how culture for math. That's my wiki.
My name is Kayla, and I did my wiki on defining difference and pretty much like what we consider different in men and women. The text discusses four different definitions that can define what difference is. I touched upon the first two definitions, the first being sex differences are real if we can measure them, and the specific issues that arise in terms of people acting different when they're being observed and or lying to change results, and also manipulation of study results and the fact that there can be priming. And then for the second definition that talked about in terms of sex differences are real if they're observed in most contemporary and historical cultures, I touched upon how across various societies, countries, states, and or subgroups, abilities can vary. So in terms of sex differences, they don't really have to do with an actual difference. They can do with training, practice, opportunity, and different things like that. So really the majority of it just discusses like what we consider different and how we define that difference.